It's a Minimalist Monday edition of Optimal Living Daily, episode 1914, Practical Minimalism for Busy People by Jennifer of SimplyFiercely.com, and I'm Justin Malik. Happy Monday and welcome to the OLD podcast, the OLD podcast, Optimal Living Daily, where I read to you like a big ongoing audiobook, but from many different authors. Today's post being from Jennifer of Simply Fiercely. Now let's get right to it and start optimizing your life. Practical Minimalism for Busy People by Jennifer of SimplyFiercely.com. I've been learning about the minimalist lifestyle for nearly a decade now, and during that time, my life has changed a lot. Right now, I work for myself, so I have a lot of flexibility with how I spend my time and energy. Of course, I still have a lot of responsibilities. Motherhood and self-employment both keep you busy, but overall, there's a lot of breathing room in my everyday life. I'm so grateful for this space because I know what a gift it truly is. At various times in my life, I've been on the other side, working 50, 60, and even 70-plus hour weeks just to make ends meet. I've done the long commute, I've juggled multiple jobs, and I know how it feels to be truly busy and exhausted. I know that for some of you hearing this, being busy and exhausted is still your reality. You're tired and you know you need simplicity in your life, but with everything going on, you have no time or energy to get started. It's an unfortunate cycle that keeps you stuck, right? If this sounds familiar, then I wrote this post for you. Here are 3 practical ways you can start simplifying your life, even without a lot of time or energy to spare. No time to declutter? Do this instead. Almost every blog post about simple living or minimalism encourages you to start by decluttering. This isn't bad advice. Decluttering will help you simplify your life. But if you're busy, focusing on decluttering can actually keep you stuck. Why? Because even if you break it down into small tasks, at the end of the day, it's still a big job. When you already have a lot on your plate, decluttering, and therefore simplifying your life, often ends up in the too hard basket. It becomes something to do one day when you finally have more time. Of course, the next thing you know, weeks, months, or even years pass, and nothing has changed. The good news is, there's one very important thing you can do right now to simplify your life, and it takes no time. In fact, it actually saves you time. Stop shopping for things you don't need. Ultimately, making this change is so much more than decluttering. It's not as sexy. I know it's more exciting to think about a Pinterest-worthy minimalist home, but I promise you, if you're more concerned with how your life feels on the inside than how it looks on the outside, then this is a powerful place to start. As you learn to be a mindful consumer, you start thinking differently about your stuff. This mindset shift is essential for minimalism, and if you take time to nurture it, you'll find decluttering so much easier when you finally have the time to tackle it. Lay the foundations for intentional living. Over the years, the biggest lesson I've learned about minimalism is that it has less to do with what you own and everything to do with living with intention. Part of this process involves questioning how your things, everything from your physical possessions to your time commitments, add value to your life. Why do you do the things you do? Why do you own the things you own? Cultivating the habit of asking these questions is something you can start doing right now, even if you don't have the time or capacity to follow up with action. Practice anyway so you can learn more about yourself and why your life is busy and cluttered in the first place. Why are you always working late? Why do you spend so much time on your phone? Why do you own so many clothes? Admittedly, asking these questions takes a lot of mental energy, something that's often in short supply when you're busy, but I promise that it's worth making the effort. It's all part of cultivating an intentional mindset, and the more you practice, the easier it will become. With time, you'll develop a better understanding of the root cause of the clutter in your life, and this is essential for clearing it. Think of it this way. If you don't know the cause of your problem, then how can you truly go about solving it? Every minute matters. Finally, I know that when we're busy, it's easy to convince ourselves that there's no point in starting small. I don't have time to work out or read or eat healthy or simplify my life right now. I'll do it later when I have more time. Sound familiar? I know I've said some version of this statement more times than I could possibly count, but as James Clear wrote in his book Atomic Habits, quote, "Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become," end quote. In other words, everything we do matters. If you want to simplify your life, don't be afraid to start small. Even when you're busy, can you find just 5 minutes to work towards creating the life you want most? This might look like unsubscribing from one email, decluttering one t-shirt, or even just spending 5 minutes sitting in silence. If you're not sure where to begin, keep it simple. Look around you. What's one thing that's not adding value to your life, and how can you let go? If all you have is 5 minutes, that's okay. Start small with any of the ideas in this post, and I can guarantee you that if you keep showing up, it will make a difference. On the other hand, waiting for the perfect time when you're finally less busy is an almost guaranteed way to put off living your best life. I know it can be hard, but I promise you, it's worth it. You just listened to the post titled Practical Minimalism for Busy People by Jennifer of SimplyFiercely.com. And now if you're a small business owner, this is for you. Running a business is just plain hard. Endless to-do lists, employees to take care of, and your ever-present bottom line. So first of all, kudos to you for staying on top of it. I want to tell you about Gusto. Gusto built an easier and more affordable way to manage payroll, benefits, and more. They help over 100,000 businesses, including ours here at Optimal Living Daily, and they help with tasks like automated payroll tax filing, simple direct deposits, free health insurance administration, 401ks, onboarding tools, you name it, Gusto made it easy. And they really care about the small business owners they work with. Their support team is attentive and helpful. And since money can be tight right now, you'll even get 3 months free once you run your first payroll. Just go to gusto.com/old and start setting up your business today. You'll see what I mean when I say easy. Again, that's 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/old, gusto.com/OLD. Thank you to Jennifer. I'd have to agree the root of the problem with clutter is not the current clutter, as strange as that seems, but it's the buying of unnecessary things in the first place. Now, I don't think I can say I'm a minimalist per se. I like to say I'm a minimalist in progress for life, but I'm definitely not a shopper. You'll usually only see me shopping when I'm trying to solve a specific issue. And more often than not, my shopping involves consumables, which isn't really clutter unless it's expired. But anyway, yes, clutter right now can be contributing to clutter in your brain. It can be affecting your mood and happiness. But first, if those items weren't purchased and brought into your home in the first place, this wouldn't be a problem. And second, if you stop bringing in new items, then slowly it is likely that the old ones will start getting donated or sold or thrown away, you name it. And slowly the clutter will disappear over time if you're not bringing in new things. You can even implement a 1 in, 1 out rule, or even better, 1 in, 2 out, or 3 or 4 or 5 out rule for every one, where whenever you buy something non-consumable, like some clothes, for example, you have to get rid of that many articles of clothing that same day. It's a simple trick to keep things under control or even stop you from buying in the first place. But figure out what works for you, if you're trying to minimize at least. And thank you for listening every day and optimizing your life with me. Have a great start to your week, and I'll see you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.